In this video, I'm going to show you how the framing effect works and how we can use the framing effect to adjust different shots to our project resolution. So, first thing, just want to show you that the resolution of the project that we're working on is 2048 by 1080, and we're working at 25 frames per second, and our video output would be as well 2048 by 1080. The media that we have, as soon as I double click here, I'll go into the visual editor, and I'm going to turn off the storyboard so it's easier to look at. You can see here that Mistika is always attempting to scale the input image to the project resolution, and that's why it's saying this is rescaled from 2560 by 1080, which is the source resolution of the clip. If I go to the next clip that I had, just by going to next shot here, I have an HD shot, and you can see that it says this is 1920 by 1080. And I'm gonna go to the following shot, which is PAL 720 by 576, and you can see it's stretched. That is because Mistika by default tries to use all the pixels available in the image and stretch them to the project resolution. That's why we have the option of unscaled here, so we could see actually the image at its original 1:1 resolution. So you could see there, as soon as I turn it on and off, we could see how the canvas of the visual editor changes, and in unscaled we would see it at its original resolution. If I go to the previous shot with Control left and do the same thing, you can see that we're going from 1920 by 1080, and when I press unscaled, we are seeing the image on 1:1 resolution. And same thing when I go to the next shot. Okay, when I press unscaled, we see that we can see the source resolution as it is. So to normalize all these shots to the project resolution, what we're going to do is add a framing effect. So I'm going to select all of them and go to the bottom part of my effects panel at the right, and that's where I have framing, and I just press framing, and you can see there that now the framing effect has been applied. So I'm going to double click and see the different options that I have. First of all, Mistika will always respect the input resolution, and that's why it's still saying this is rescaled from 2560 by 1080. And that is, I can change that by changing result size. So in result size, I'm just going to click and say, okay, I want the result size to be the project resolution. And you can see there, automatically Mistika has padded this shot. And why? Because in fit, just underneath result size, we have different options on how to fit the image into the project resolution. If we want to pad, crop, which will be helpful if we have different resolutions as we have in this timeline. Fit width and fit height, very similar to the previous ones, but you will have to manipulate them on a shot per shot basis. Fit to fill, just exactly what Mistika was doing without any framing, filling the whole project resolution and stretching, as you can see here, with an even scale. Or 1:1 pixels, but center cropping the center of and leaving out the sides and the top and bottom of the image if necessary. So it really depends on what you want, and it might change depending on the different resolutions that you're working on. So I'm going to open the storyboard again just to see it. But if by default you really don't want to miss any pixel information from any of the shots you're working on, you would have to select pad to fit. Okay, and you can see there that Mistika fits the image, adding black bars on top or bottom on this shot because of the aspect ratio of this shot. If I go to the next shot, 1920 by 1080, and apply the same things, project and pad to fit, you could see that it would add bars to the sides. Okay, why? Because the aspect ratio of HD, it's smaller on the x-axis than the resolution that we're working on right now. And that is going to be exactly the same if we go to the next shot, which is our SD version, where I can go to project and over here say pad to fit, and you can see we have larger bars on the sides. So that is the way that the framing effect works, and you can define different fits and different ways of adjusting the resolutions of shots to your project.